Today we introduce an extension of an open-source project for Facebook.
AnimatedDrawings, which we have introduced before. What does it do? Suppose you have some cartoon drawings. It can generate various animations for these cartoon drawings.
How to use it? Input a cartoon drawing along with a skeleton file that describes the animation. There are many ways to obtain animation skeleton files now. There are various websites where you can even upload a video, and it will generate this kind of animation skeleton file for you for free.
AnimatedDrawings project uses 3D animation skeleton files to drive cartoon characters. It is mainly used for drawing cartoon characters, but it can be extended. For example, you can also drive other animations, such as small animals or insects. However, the project settings are very complex and require a large number of configuration files. You need to manually set these configuration files. So, I made a software to help generate various configuration files. This way, you can make full use of this project and quickly drive various animation objects. Let's look at the project itself. It is divided into several modules. The first part is the management of the skeleton files. The second part is the management of the skeleton library for your animation objects. The third part is how to bind the animation skeleton files to your 2D animation objects. This object is reusable. All of these are reusable, otherwise the project would not make much sense. The final step is to generate animations. Let's go through them one by one. This one is the management of skeleton files, including writing and modifying. We have made a clever design that allows modifying 3D animations directly on a 2D plane without using a 3D scene. This part is about skeleton files. Let's take a look. It's relatively simple. You can generate new skeleton files, which actually represent different cartoon objects. You can see there are humanoid ones, and there may also be crawling ones. You can also define different animation objects. Let's give an example. Suppose we have a demo. It first has a root, and then we can choose preset nodes, or you can define new nodes yourself. In this way, step by step, you can generate the skeleton you want. This skeleton corresponds to the skeleton of the cartoon object. After having these two things, we need to do retargeting. Retargeting is quite complex, so you need to do the new retargeting yourself. Let's take a look at a simple example. First is grouping. For example, you can define various groupings, and after the groupings on both sides, there is also root offset. This also needs to be defined first, grouping and then root offset. Finally, there is mapping. Mapping is also quite complex. For mapping, you need to define the corresponding bindings, each of which is a pair. The left side is the 3D skeleton, and the right side is the skeleton of our cartoon object. How to do some corresponding bindings is the most important step after doing it. It is how we use it. This is an example. For example, you need to have some configuring files, then you must generate some masking, and then you must match the skeleton of your cartoon to the cartoon object you want. This image needs to be processed, as well as some settings. Let's give an example. Pretending to generate a demo, first we need to import different files. Let's import one randomly, the different files we want to import, and then there is the image setting. At the same time, we also need to import different files. Let's assume that this corresponds to this image setting. Let's give an example. We can map the skeleton, you can make some modifications, modify the position to match its skeleton. Then the generated project can be used directly. What we just talked about is using this open source project to drive animation.